Good evening, traders. Adam here from Bull Logic doing a market analysis with you this evening. Taking a look at the S&P, we had another up day. This market never seems to actually come down. It's always up, up, up. As you see, another inside day, another small move on the candles here, coming right into that resistance, right at that 437, 440 level. Making a nice flag coming through here. Definitely something to keep on watch. See if we could break out higher. We're consolidating here in this small little pattern. We are still overbought here in the short term. I definitely would like to see us move sideways a little bit more. Maybe even pull back a little bit before we actually make that run up into the 1450s. That way we can actually get a nice, solid, sustained run and not something like just a push forward and then a pull back real quick just because we're already overextended. So I definitely want to see us move sideways a little bit more before we break out, but it does look like we are gearing up to move higher. We had several important events happen today. The first one was Germany okaying the buying of the bonds, which is always good news over there. Markets did like that. Then we also had the release of the iPhone 5, which is not really market worthy, but it does move Apple around, and that's something that needs to be addressed just because Apple is such a big part of the indices. As you see, Apple didn't really do anything, up a little bit, 1.4% for the day. Kind of a muted reaction towards the iPhone, which is pretty typical for Apple. Usually it has a lot of muted reactions, and then throughout the next week or the next couple of days, it'll actually pick a direction and run. 6-7% is the pretty norm for it to move after an announcement. We did post an Apple option play on our website, so make sure you check that out. Looking at the Russell, again, still flagging here under this highs or under these highs of that 847 level. Definitely something to watch for a break. Again, we are way overbought here, so this is not something I want to see just break out. I'd still rather see some sideways movement before we actually move higher. Looking at the VIX, we had some small move in the VIX today, down 3%. One thing that we do want to note, looking at VIXCentral.com, make sure you check out the site for all your VIX needs. We're looking at the VIX cash here is the green line, and then we have the futures going out. First one is September. As you can see, the VIX is trading at that 1580, while the September futures are only trading at 1575. That means the VIX is in backwardation, and this is something that we need to pay attention to and watch out for. This doesn't happen very often, and when it does, it's usually a bad sign. It means people are worrying about what's happening right now over pricing in some fear in the near term or in the distant term. So we definitely need to be on watch for this, see if we can get back in what they call contango, which is back when the cash is less than the futures. But for now, this is a red flag, and it's mostly due just because of the Fed speak tomorrow. Ben Bernanke is going to come off and say, yes, we're going with QE3. No, we're not going with QE3. You know, what people think of what's going to happen and what the market is already pricing in is one story. So we need to really be unleveraged and not take too many positions when we head into the announcement. I can already guarantee you that tomorrow's trading day is going to be very slow and very boring up into the announcement, where we're going to get a big reaction and then we'll get a opposite reaction also big, just because that is the typical reaction to the news. You know, a lot of people are expecting him to announce QE3. If he does, is it going to be the amount people are talking about? You know, is it the 850 million or whatever? So there's no real way to actually judge what's going to happen. We're just going to have to wait for the reaction in the market, wait for it to cool itself out, and then we can finally gather up and see where it's actually going to take us. Financials did break out nicely over that bull flag. Technology is still flagging here, nice high and tight flag, something we like to see when we look for breakouts. Definitely keep that on watch for another break higher. If Apple can get a good run going, we could see that breakout. The Dow transports are pushing higher even more. We are definitely overbought here in the short term. Volume is starting to fall off a little bit. I would expect us to roll over around this area. So definitely keep that on watch. Another red flag, see if we move lower in the markets. Again, we are still overbought. I would love us to have a breakout just because that is what we are setting up for, but I would like it to be over a couple more days. Hopefully the reaction to tomorrow's news is not too devastating. and we can definitely recover from it. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.